and I would rather sell 60 to 70 homes at a higher price point than 100 homes at a lower price point. I'm all about wanting to work smarter and not necessarily harder.
So the question is this: how do most agents find the secrets to succeed in today's competitive real estate market, especially when the top agents are keeping those secrets to themselves? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hi, I'm Aaron Amuchastegui, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Hey, Real Estate Rockstars. This is Aaron Amuchastegui, and I'm interrupting myself to bring you this commercial break from one of our sponsors. And I know you guys would much rather listen to the content and not the ads and not the sponsors, but this is one that I'm actually super excited with. You know, so many of the realtors that we interview on the show, they talk about how much systems are important and how much follow-up is important. And I'm really excited about our new sponsor. There's somebody I've been looking at for a long time, and when they reached out to me, I said, yes, we have to be able to do this deal. So that sponsor is Follow Up Boss. You know, on an interview last week with agent Mark McGuire, I asked him what his favorite software and what his favorite system was, and he said it was Follow Up Boss. And then he went on for another 3 or 4 minutes to talk about why Follow Up Boss was the best CRM he uses. So there's a lot of superstars out there that use Follow Up Boss. Some of the stats they gave me: Robert Slack, 1.5 billion team in Florida, #1 in the US. He uses Follow Up Boss to get a 400% ROI on its massive paid lead spend. Deborah Beagle, co-owner of the Ashton Group in Nashville, uses Follow Up Boss to guarantee that agents who join her team get 2 homes under contract in the first 90 days. That's a big guarantee for new agents. Barry Jenkins of Your Friends in Real Estate uses Follow Up Boss to automate everything so his team can produce 200 million on 25-hour work weeks. All right, so here's an offer. You guys are going to get this special for being Real Estate Rockstars listeners. Now, I've used Follow Up Boss. We've actually used it in our non-real estate businesses as well because it's so good at being able to set timers, set automatic texting and emailing, and what do you know? Best name ever, Follow Up. So here's what we got. For Real Estate Rockstars listeners, you get a 30-day free trial. That's normally 14 days. So in order to get this, you go followupboss.com/rockstars. So again, followupboss.com, just like it sounds, /rockstars. Go there, get your 30-day free trial, and check it out. Especially if you aren't using any systems or any CRMs yet, this will be a great one for you to start with. All right, everybody, thanks again. Now back to our show.
What's up, Real Estate Rockstars? I am so excited to be here today, guest hosting on behalf of Aaron. My name is Kimberly Meserve, and we have a really exciting guest here today. So we have Kail. He is a recent 30 under 30 winner, which is a really big deal. So Kail Walker, why don't you just jump in and tell us a little bit about yourself, where are you from, and tell us about your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on here. And I'm super excited. So my name is Kail Walker. Like she said, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. And I have been in real estate for the last 3 years. I've been working with my mom, who's been a really successful agent in my area for the last 25 years. We started a real estate team here right in the middle of COVID 2020. We started a small team with my business partner, Keaton, and I, and my mom. So we have a small team. We have a full-time assistant, and we just love what we do. We're all things real estate. We do residential, commercial. We can also do some property management as well, and getting into some developments and things like that as our city grows. So a lot of good things in the works right now.
Okay, so there's something immediately that I want to ask you about. What's it like working with your mom? I'm sure people ask you that all the time, but I don't talk to many younger agents who are working with one of their parents. So how does that work out for you?
Yeah, I get that question a lot because a lot of people there's no way I can work with my parents. But luckily for me, I'm a huge mama's boy. I love my mom. She was a single parent most of my young adult life growing up and things like that. So I spent a lot of time with my mom. And so we have a really good bond a relationship to where it works out. I get to see her. I don't see her every single day, but I get to talk to her on a regular basis. And so when you have that good relationship with your mom, I mean, I don't know, it works out for us, you know?
That's so cool. How exciting. Tell me a little bit about your journey to 30 under 30. It's a really big deal. You and I were kind of chit-chatting a little bit before we started recording. And I was a 30 under 30 winner in 2020. So I know kind of what it's like to be in your shoes right now. And it's a really exciting time. So share with the audience a little bit about what made you apply, what was the journey to get there, and how's it been since?
Yeah, absolutely. Congrats on your accomplishment on that as well. So when I first got into the business, I knew there was some things that I wanted to do to separate myself from all the other agents in my market. You know, we have in our market, there's about 4,000 agents. We have a lot more agents than there's listings. So I needed to find a way where I could separate myself from other people. And I really wanted to take my branding seriously to try to give me that step ahead and continue to elevate myself in other ways besides just being a real estate agent. I wanted to give back to my community and just be the guy that people want to go to for all things real estate. And so when I backtracking, before I got into real estate, I was working just a regular, comfortable job. I loved the job. Didn't necessarily love the pay and the schedule and things like that. But I did love the company that I worked for. And I was living in Kansas City, Missouri at the time. And I knew I was moving back to Omaha to get into real estate. And I wanted to find something that could separate me again. And doing all this research on the industry, I kept seeing that you really have to get out there and network. And I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but it ties back in. So I knew that I wanted to come back to my city and network and meet different people, but the networking events that I was attending and seeing, they just really weren't for me necessarily. And so I decided that I want maybe just create my own networking event and also tie it into giving back to the community and helping people, in Omaha, helping elevate the city and the people here. And so now I have a company that we host amazing networking events, and part of our mission is to give back as well. So that's, one thing that I knew that would take me to the next level of being an agent that, can receive such an award like that. And I didn't actually discover 30 under 30 until about 2 years ago. I came across it in a magazine, and I even circled the date on it and said, I put it on my vision board. And I continue to host my networking events and continue to elevate my brand in a way that would reflect somebody who were previous winners like yourself. And so, with all that being said, I really found something with my networking events and with my branding, and obviously, going above and beyond for my clients, that led me to being recognized for the 30 under 30. So hopefully that answers your question in a way.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to actually dive a little bit more into those networking events. Can you share with our listeners, what do those events entail? What does that look like? And how's it contributing to your business? Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was we wanted to create, and when I say we, I have my business partner. His name is Keaton. He's the third person on our real estate team. He just got his license 2 years ago, but I brought him this idea 3 years ago before I got into the business and said, hey man, I'm getting into real estate. I want to separate myself. I want to help our city of Omaha, Nebraska, because we are so slept on. We are so underrated that let's build something together. So we wanted to create something that was an experience and not necessarily just another event. Networking, the events that I was going to, and what other people would express to me were that these events felt like a chore, and they didn't really want to go there. They were kind of dry, like, oh, here's my business card. Like, hopefully you call me, and you never really build those connections and those relationships that you need. Sometimes you do, don't get me wrong, but the events just weren't for me. And so we wanted to create an experience, because an experience is something that you want to come back to. So our events are very exclusive. They're not really open to the public. They're invite only. They're very high class. We dress nice. We have local vendors that come and promote their businesses or their services. We have guest speakers. We have a panel of speakers, a red carpet, a photo shoot area. They're just really fun. And like I said, there's something that you want to come back to and that you look forward to networking. Because networking, I'm sorry, it should be fun. It shouldn't be sitting around a coffee table and handing out business cards. Let's make it an experience. So that's kind of what it is. The name of it's called Rise Omaha. So that's what Rise Omaha networking events are about.
Wow, that sounds really cool. How do I get an invite to one of those events?
You're invited for sure. You don't need an invite. You're invited.
That's so cool. But you did say that it is invite only. So tell me a little bit who gets invited to these events, because they sound amazing. I want to come. I will fly there from Boston to have the red carpet rolled out. What does it take to get on the guest list here?
So we like to grow from within. So our very first networking event we had at my grandparents' house. My grandparents have a really nice house here in town, and we want to make sure our events are, like I said, high class and elegant. So we invited, this was summer of 2019. We had our very first networking event. I just got into real estate, and we invited 22 people, 17 people showed up. And then after that, we decided to grow from within. So then our next networking event, we had about 60 people. So we invited everybody that came to the first one, but they were able to bring a +1. Our mindset with that was, well, if somebody is going to be invited to our networking event, they're probably going to bring someone of value as well that can, come in and, be an asset to the group, to the people that we have coming. So we went from 17 people to about 60 people. At our second event, our third event, we grew again from within. And along the way, when we meet different people, it's just people through our network is how we invite these people. Third event, we had about 150 people. And then our most recent event, just a couple months ago, we had about 200 people. So we're going from within, and people are really latching on to the concept.
Wow, that's fantastic. And what a great way to just kind of build your SOI as well.
Yeah.
Can you help me understand, how much is that contributing to your business in general?
Yeah. So of course, I started this in hopes to get leads, right? I wanted to meet high quality individuals that wanted to buy or sell real estate. And it's turned into a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a group, whereas now we have a whole community of people. And so what it's really done for me is it's maximized my exposure within my city. Number one, I've been able to reach a lot more people. And, just brand myself in a way where I am known as an entrepreneur here in town, the real estate guy, the social media guy, the guy that hosts networking events. And so, like I said, it's just elevated my brand so that I can, so that I've been able to, get my face in front of more people, because the more people that know you and the more people your network is your net worth, right? So
really cool. So let's get a little bit more granular about some numbers. I'm a big numbers person. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about your business. How many houses have you sold in the last 12 months? What's the volume look like? GCI? Give us, the listeners, a little bit more info.
Yeah, of course. So in 2021, I did about 12.5 million in volume. I helped 56 people buy or sell. It was about, I would say, 40% sellers, 60% buyers, give or take. And my very first year in the business, I got licensed in March of 2019. And from March to the end of 2019, I only did 5 transactions. I was working a full-time job still. And then in 2020, I was able to more than double, helped 25 people. And then, like I said, in 2021, I doubled again, and I was able to help 56 people. So I've been able to really grow each year I've been in the business.
That's some really phenomenal growth that you've seen in your business. What do you think the biggest contributor to that growth is?
I think it's just, first of all, I have an amazing mentor. I think that's really, really important, is finding the right mentor, finding the right team. And my mom is the perfect mentor. So I've had a lot of help from her, of course. And then it's just me, maximizing my brand and continuing to get my systems in place that are able to help me elevate each and every year.
Awesome. So let's talk some sources. I know we have these really cool sounding networking events. What's your number one source for listing leads?
My number one source for leads, it comes from social media. So I have a big following on Instagram. I have about 23,000 followers on Instagram. I have about 43,000 on TikTok. I mean, obviously on Facebook, you're maxed out at 5,000 friends. So I have a strong social media presence to the point where, people that I don't even really know will recommend me to their friends or family. People that I never met will recommend me. So my biggest source comes from social media, the referrals, and my sphere of influence. Those are my three biggest where I get the most amount of business from.
That's really cool. I love seeing a lot of agents taking advantage of those unique lead generation methods like TikTok. If somebody wanted to build up a social media presence, you have an amazing following that you've built up. What advice would you give to someone that says, I want to get into the social media more, maybe I want to start a TikTok, but I don't know what to do?
Well, for me, you have to be consistent on social media, and finding your niche is important. And that might take some time to find that niche. And so, I would say if you can just start posting, right? That's the biggest way to figure out what your niche is you have to just start posting. I think a lot of people get almost like analysis paralysis, where they're like, it's so much that they don't do anything, right? And real estate and social media, you really have to the system's already there. You just got to kind of go follow other people and see what they're doing and bounce ideas off of them. So finding somebody on social media that, you might want your Instagram or TikTok or to look like, and just kind of almost do something similar, but with your own twist. Just study. You have to study on social media. You have to study the trends. You have to study the different sounds and the people that are successful, the people that have what you want. You just got to study them and get ideas. And like I said, you have to just start posting, and don't care what people are you can't worry about, and it's easier said than done, but you can't have that. I'm worried about what other people think about me. Like we all get those little scaries, but once you overcome that, I mean, the sky's the limit. And it took me a while, but once you get leads from it, then it gets addicting.
Yeah. There's always going to be haters out there too. Right?
Real estate rock stars. This is Aaron Muchastegui with a quick commercial break with one of our newest sponsors. I'm super excited to be partnering with these guys. Does 15 to 20% ROI investing in turnkey rentals sound attractive? Did you know you can use the BRRRR strategy with new construction that has immediate equity already? You guys have heard me talk about stuff like this. Rent to Retirement offers fully turnkey properties that are newly built or renovated, leased and managed, allowing you to invest with confidence out of state. They have single family, multifamily, new build, and syndication opportunities across multiple markets that maximize cash flow, appreciation, and equity. Rent to Retirement assists investors in learning how to build a comprehensive business plan with the best investment and tax strategies to achieve financial freedom through real estate investing. There's no excuse not to get started in real estate investing when you have the right team and systems in place. To learn more, visit renttoretirement.com. That's renttoretirement.com or call 1-800-311-6781. That's 800-311-6781 to learn about how you can get started investing in some of the best cash flow markets today. And if you guys want to learn more about Zach, episode 1025, We dig in for a good 45-minute interview where he tells you the secrets to investing in real estate out of state. And him and I shared a lot of ideas about what works and what doesn't. You'll get to hear a lot about his company and his business. You know, if you're an agent from out of state and you've got referrals looking for stuff, they work with other agents on a referral basis. And we've talked so much since COVID hit that everybody needs to have a backup plan, right? Every one of you agents needs to have a backup plan. You should all be investing in real estate. And if you're having trouble finding the time and the team to do it, maybe something like Rent to Retirement is the solution for you. So thank you for listening. Go check them out. Now back to the rest of our podcast.
So what advice would you give to an agent who maybe is pretty new in real estate and they're looking at people like yourself who have seen this phenomenal growth in a really short period of time, winning awards like 30 under 30? I just know from talking to people that are applying, like reaching out to me for advice, saying like, oh, you know, I haven't sold enough houses, or I haven't been in the business long enough. I'm not sure if I'm even going to be looked at as a potential candidate to win this award. What advice would you give to someone who's sitting in the shoes of a brand new agent and wants to have the success that you've had?
Yeah, I mean, I would say as far as the 30 under 30 goes, I mean, you can apply every year if you don't get it the first time, you know, and you're also going to get your foot in the door. And, you know, these realtors that are, you know, the people with NAR, you know, you already have your familiar face to them. So if you don't get it the first time, you know, that's okay. You can apply again. Luckily and thankfully, I'm 29, so this was my last year I could do it. This is the first and only year that I applied. But you know, just find something that you know you can do to, you know, separate yourself from other agents. Like it goes back to that. I mean, maybe you haven't done as many deals, but you've had a bigger impact in the community. Or maybe you have a really phenomenal story about where you came from. I think there's other ways where you can just get creative with it to set yourself apart from, you know, the other 300, 400 applicants that are in there. So I hope that would help someone who's kind of like, well, where should I start? So
yeah, that's really good advice. It's like, you never know until you try, right?
You never know until you try. Absolutely.
Having really doubled your business in a short period of time, year over year, I'm sure you had a lot of like failing forward moments, right? What's a failure that you had that today you look back and you say, that was a really successful learning experience. I'm glad that happened so that I could get to where I am today.
Yeah. I mean, I could name several. One of the first couple that I can remember from when I first got in the business, I remember my very first offer that I ever got accepted. I completely forgot to write in that the buyer wanted the washer and dryer.
Oh, classic painful mistake. We've all been there.
That was a $700 mistake that I never made again. That's for sure. Because I had to pay for a new washer and dryer. It was completely my fault. I owned it, and I made it right though. My very second listing. It was my very last deal of 2019. And I had done a few by myself, and I got a little bit too cocky. I got a little bit too big of a head. I didn't think I needed my mom to look at the contract to review things. And we accepted an offer, and little did I know that the sellers or the buyers had a home to sell, and I didn't realize it. And so, you know, that was a tough conversation that I had to have with my sellers, you know, but again, I'm one of those people that I have to mess up to not learn learn not to do it again. So, you know, that was, you know, my point is like, you're going to mess up, but, you know, correct your mistake. And, you know, you won't make those mistakes again if you're paying $700 for washers and dryers. That's for sure.
That is true. Sometimes they're expensive, but we definitely don't make those mistakes again. Right. Talk to us a little bit about the market in Omaha. What are you guys seeing right now? I know all over the country, you know, some people are talking about shifting markets. They're seeing inventory start to stay a little bit longer. What are you guys experiencing out there?
Similar. So of course, 2020, 2021, interest rates are really low. We had same thing as probably your market, way over asking price, just insane offers, no inspections, all kind of crazy stuff, naming their firstborn child after the sellers, all those kind of crazy stuff. So our market, as of the last few months with rates going down, we have noticed maybe a slight shift as well. We are, I just read a statistic from the Omaha Board of Realtors that houses are sitting on the market a little bit longer. Some of them are, and they're not selling. Some of them aren't selling right away. And we also have less buyers in our market right now. So we are seeing more price reductions. And, instead of 15 offers on houses, we're only seeing maybe a handful. So we are starting to see a slight shift a little bit. I mean, I had a listing that went on the market last Monday that I know for a fact 2 years ago probably would have had 10 offers, but it sat on the market for a few days before we had any activity on it. So we're starting to see a little bit of a slight shift here in Omaha as well.
What are you doing as an agent to brush up on your skills and make sure that you're really prepared to have some of those like harder conversations around price reductions and setting expectations up front with your sellers? What kind of trainings are you diving into? What are you listening to? Podcasts, books, anything that you can share with our listeners?
Yeah. So, I think, the market, it's not a matter of if, it begins to shift, it's a matter of when. So I think it's just preparing your sellers now that, hey, we're not, don't expect multiple offers, on your listing. Could it happen? Absolutely. But don't expect it like you did 2 years ago. And for me, our team right now, we're really trying to prepare for when you can't just throw a sign in the yard and it sells in hours, right? I mean, my mom's been in the game, like I said, for 25 years, 5 to 10 years ago, it took 3 months to sell a house, and that time is going to come again. So what are you doing now to prepare yourself for when the market shifts? What are you doing to stand out from those other agents? Are you on social media? What are you doing to market the home? Things like that. So we're really trying to step up our marketing and find ways to get creative to sell homes when you can't, like I said, you can't just throw a sign in the yard and hope it sells. So what we're doing right now is we're learning from agents that have prior experience in a market where it's not so easy to sell a house anymore. So that's where myself and my business partner, Keaton, are relying on my mom, is because she's been through that period where it's harder to sell a home. And we're really just trying to fine tune our systems, our processes to make sure that things run efficiently and smooth, and we can sell a home better than any other agent in town. So that's kind of what we're doing right now.
You guys have a little bit of an unfair advantage having your mom who's been in the industry for 25 years and seen every type of market, right? That's an awesome competitive advantage to have, because a huge percent of agents right now have never been through a shifting market. So you have the leg up there with that, not rookie, but I'm veteran. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. The veteran experience.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about some goals that you guys have for this year. Are you doubling your business again? What do you have set for a goal?
So me personally, at the beginning of the year, I had a goal that I wanted to sell 100 homes this year. And that is, it didn't seem, it's not unattainable for me because I've doubled every year that I've been in this business. But I started to realize that I had to talk to way more people to get to that point, which is okay. But I just decided as of the last month or so that I'd rather have quality over quantity, and I would rather sell 60 to 70 homes at a higher price point than 100 homes at a lower price point. I'm all about wanting to work smarter and not necessarily harder. I do think I'm a hustler. Trust me, I love the grind. I work really hard. But I'm getting to the point where I would like to start working smarter and more efficiently. Versus, I don't think I need to sell 100 homes. I just want to sell quality homes and have quality interactions with my clients. And so as a team, I think we're all kind of on that same page. Keaton, my business partner, he wants to sell 100 homes. He's on a mission to do that, and we're trying to get him there. But as a team, I think we're just trying to really fine tune our systems and make sure the experience with our customers is top notch. So I've toned it down a little bit.
Some of us forget what having a life looks like. So it sounds like you're really approaching this in a smart way of like, why don't I work the same amount, but make more money because I'm working with a higher price point? What are you doing strategically to increase your average price point?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So, for me, so I'll give you one example on social media or just any sort of marketing that you're doing. If you're trying to target a higher price point of audience, then there's no reason why you should be doing, putting out a first-time home buyer video on your Instagram. Now, should you do those things? Of course, but I don't want to necessarily target those individuals if I'm looking for a higher price point. So I'm starting to do my marketing towards the buyers and the sellers that I'm looking for. I'm in that age. I'm 29. That a lot of my peers are buying homes, first time homes, but a lot of people are also selling and upgrading because they're in that older millennial age to where they already bought their first home. So I'm starting to really focus my marketing on, those first time home buyers that maybe have I don't know what your market is, but a $200,000 house in Omaha, Nebraska is a great starter home price. Now they might be looking for a 400 or a 500,000. So I'm really trying to focus on those first time home buyers that need to upsell and upgrade, and kind of start my marketing towards that, if that makes sense.
That's awesome. And just for the record, $200,000 gets you a parking spot in Boston. So you can't even get a roof over your head for that price, unfortunately. So you're lucky that you're in a price where people can afford to buy houses, because that's a big issue that we definitely have. What is one piece of advice that you would give to agents that, like, you kind of touched on it a little bit there, but if you were to sum it up in one sentence, what would you give for advice to agents that want to increase their price point?
I would say if you want to increase your price point, again, it goes back to, start target marketing those individuals as well. I mean, that's the number one thing that I have is start to target market those individuals, whether that's mailers to that neighborhood, or, if you want to start door knocking, that's one thing that I'm really going to start implementing into my business this year, and circle prospecting. And so that's, that's the biggest piece of advice that I could say is your target market, who you want to go after. If it's first time home buyers, do that. If it's, if it's a, higher price point of homes, then start marketing to those individuals and networking in those price points as well. So.
Yeah, we always say on our team that you get what you ask for, right? So if you want more listings, ask more questions around listings. Yes. If you want more buyers, start with questions around buyers, but you're going to get what you ask for. Yeah. So just to kind of start wrapping it up, I'm really curious, what are your future plans for these networking events that you guys have been doing? You built it up to a few hundred people. What's the future look like for those events?
Yeah. So as we continue to grow and expand, we want to get to a point where we are having our events like damn near at an arena, right? Like we want to have these super impactful, powerful events that, can help you network and elevate your life and your business. And we want people from all over the country to come in. If you're familiar with the Berkshire Hathaway event here in Omaha, Nebraska with Warren Buffett, Warren Buffett's from Omaha, Nebraska. Everyone knows that. But, we want to get to a scale where we have people that want to come to Omaha to network and, build those connections and those lifelong. So that's the long-term future. We want to start doing some different membership type of services as well, where you can really build those connections in that network within the community and have access to the people within our community. It's kind of hard to describe what it's going to look like, but that's kind of the long-term vision.
Wow, that's amazing. So just out of curiosity, is it just that you and your business partner are putting all these events on? Like it sounds like a lot of work. Do you have people helping? Are you outsourcing that? How does that work?
Yeah, so planning events are a lot more than you think. So there's 4 of us in total. There's myself and Keaton, we're the co-founders. We have Caleb, he's our CFO. He's a financial advisor here in town. And then we have Allie, who's our COO. She's kind of the glue to everything. She's the organized one. She's the, she's the communicator. And so there's 4 of us that plan these events for each quarter that we have them. And then we have, different people that kind of help us. But for the most part, it's us 4 planning those events. It's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work for 4 people. It sounds like you guys are really crushing it, though. What's one parting thought that you want to leave our listeners with, or a piece of advice?
I would say, I just got asked this question, so I'll use the same one that I use. So in any business or any life, this may not tie into something that we talked about today, but I think it's a helpful point of advice is, in life, in business, and whatever it is, you're going to have challenges and things that come up. But the key to happiness and success is learning how to be happy and continue to grind during those challenges, because challenges in life are inevitable. And so if you can accept that and work through them, then ultimately I think we'd have a happier world if people knew, how to just accept the challenges and continue to enjoy life while you're working through them. So
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Kail. Again, congratulations for being a 30 under 30 finalist winner. And it was such a pleasure getting to chat with you today, learn a little bit more about some of the really cool stuff that you're doing with your business. And I hope you have a really successful year.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
All right, real estate rock stars. This is Aaron Muchastegui jumping in again to thank you for listening to the show. Hopefully you guys loved listening to that one. And I want to make sure that you know about all of the extra resources that we have. And also, we need your help. They say podcasts are free. You get to listen to podcasts for free. But what is the cost of that podcast? I would say if I could beg you to pay anything for that podcast, I would say the cost of the podcast is going and giving a review. So whether you download it on Google or Apple or YouTube or anywhere else, please go give us a review. Say what you liked, what you didn't like. It helps us get better guests. The more reviews, the higher we get in the rankings. Right now, we are the biggest podcast out there for real estate agents, and we want to keep that spot because we know there's lots of podcasts out there. So go give us a review. Also, be sure to go to hibandigital.com. If you liked any of the resources that those real estate agents talked about, we've got a huge video vault of those resources for free. Every penny that comes on the podcast that we interview, they give us something that helps them get their deals or helps them work with their clients. And we put that in the toolbox in our vault for you. So go to hibandigital.com and you can get it. If you're looking for real estate education, go to rebusuniversity.com. We have all sorts of courses in there to help agents succeed in real estate, how to get the listing, how to negotiate deals, how to become an investor, all sorts of different stuff, rebusuniversity.com. And if you want to chat with me, go find me on Instagram. And if you come find me on Instagram, you can send me messages. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. We try to put a bunch of content out there too. You can find me in 2 different places. It's at rerockstars.com for our Real Estate Rockstars page, or at aaronandmuchastegui.com for my personal Instagram page where I can chat with you about all sorts of different things. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.